Hello everyone, my name's Matt from the Salesforce Marketing Cloud Dev Group. Today we're doing a little bit more with Dataroma or Marketing Cloud Intelligence, and we're going to step through implementation and a really simple use case. This is a bit of a developer sort of exercise where we're just seeing how it all works together, and it's the sort of thing that once you've got access to the platform, you should be able to do yourself. And watch this for how it all works. As we're watching through, please put your thinking caps on about questions that you know you're going to need and want to ask down the track once you're doing it yourself, or if you've attempted to do it, you've got some questions now. Q&A is open. Arthur, over to you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and nice to meet you. And thank you, Matt, for this opportunity to present the second part about Marketing Cloud Intelligence, and more specifically, the implementation part. So let's jump into it. But just before we start, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Arthur Backouche, and I work as a Salesforce Marketing Cloud consultant at Sky Solution. So we implement a range of marketing cloud solution, and on top of Marketing Cloud, we have like all these other products that are CDP, Marketing Cloud Intelligence, Marketing Cloud personalization. And today we will focus on Marketing Cloud Intelligence / Dataroma. So I just would like to introduce you what will be the different part of this presentation. We will kickstart with the implementation team to understand who are the people that are implementing Marketing Cloud Intelligence. After that, we will see what are the main project phase during an implementation project. And then we will deep dive into each phase. So like the discovery phase, the build phase, and we will also speak about QA, customer quality assurance, and sign up. And finally, we will explain how we deliver the project and how we do an handover to another team. So the first part is the implementation team. So when we implement a Marketing Cloud Intelligence project, we need two people specifically. We need a project manager and a solution architect, but it can be also a consultant. But the project marketer is quite interesting because he will be here to really organize the project and discuss with the client on everything that is related to timeline and how the project is progressing. He will be here really to help organize everything related to the project Marketing Cloud Intelligence. We have also the solution architect or the consultant that is way more technical than the project manager. His main objective will be to understand what are the business needs of the customer to turn them into technical requirements and then build and implement this technical requirement into Dataroma feature. He have a strong expertise in Marketing Cloud Intelligence. He is more likely to be a technical person, and he will be in charge to design the overall solution of the project, like a plan of an house, basically, and then implementing the house of the Marketing Cloud Intelligence project. After that, we have different phases when we are talking about Dataroma. The first phase is the discovery. What we want during the discovery is to understand the business need to turn them into technical requirements. So this is what we spoke about with the solution architect. This person will be in charge of the discovery to understand what the customer need and what are the features that should be implemented into Salesforce Marketing Cloud Intelligence. And this will take approximately 3 weeks. So every like day for 3 weeks, the solution architect should be able to communicate with the customer to understand what the dashboard and what Marketing Cloud intelligence should look like in terms of design, in terms of branding, and also what are the different data source that are needed. For example, if the client is using Google Ads, Facebook Ads, and Google Analytics, then there is 3 data source. But this can be really flexible and can really change across like customers. So this is something that need to be discussed with the customer. And finally, we have like the harmonization rule. So like the idea will be to make the different data source speak the same language to provide some reports that are easily understandable for the end user. So this take approximately 3 weeks. And after that, we have what we call the build period, which is way more heavy in terms of workload. It will take approximately 10 weeks. And this is where we will like build the project basically. So we will have 3 sub phases that are like the data ingestion. So connecting the different data source, for example, Facebook ads, Google Analytics, LinkedIn ads to the platform to collect the data from a specific time period. So for example, we want to collect the data across the different data source over the last 3 months or over the last six months. After that, we have the harmonization and KPI. So basically here we will highlight the main metrics that need to be visualized on a daily basis by the customer, and also work on this harmonization that I spoke before about, when we tell the different data source to speak the same language to provide a single view of how we are doing marketing in a way. And lastly, we have the visualization. This will be building the small widget on each report to have a nice looking view of the data that we are pulling through the different API. And lastly, we have like the go live session. So we are releasing the platform, Marketing Cloud Intelligence, and we are training the end user to use the software accordingly. All of these different phases will contain a sign-off and a QA, so quality assurance, and this I will come back to it in a few slides. But I just wanted to firstly focus on what understanding visually, what the meaning of understand what is visualization. It's really important that during your discovery phase, you are able to discuss with the customer to understand what you want to see as a final project. It's like basically when you are doing some interior design and you speak with an architect, the architect will let you know what the final result of your house. And here it's exactly the same. You should deep dive into each details to make sure like your customer already know what the solution will look like at the end. After that, we have the harmonization rule. So as I explained before, it will be to make sure that your different data sources are communicating in the same way. So this is really abstract when I say that, but a really good example will be when you have a link. For example, let's say I do some Google ads, I will have a link, and this link will be trackable thanks to what we call a UTM. So the UTM will be the part of the link that is after the question mark. And within this UTM, I will have different parameters. So for example, source, medium, and campaign. So I will need to make sure that across Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google Analytics, I get the source element of the UTM, because this is where I will be able to understand that the link that came to my website, when a user click on the link and is redirected to my website, it came from LinkedIn, because as you can see here, you have UTM source equal LinkedIn. So let's say you do that for each platform. Facebook is Facebook, LinkedIn is LinkedIn, and Google is Google. You will need to say to Dataroma, okay, every time there is a link, check after UTM source to get the keywords related to the platform. So for in this case, we will know that the UTM source is LinkedIn. And then we will plug it to a Dataroma field. It's exactly like a field in a data extension or a field in Salesforce to say UTM source equal LinkedIn. And then in the Dataroma field source, we will have LinkedIn. And then the data can be harmonized and segmented. I hope it makes sense, but I think it should be a good way to explain it. And the last part of the discovery session is to connect the data source. So we want to know, okay, what is currently available and that we can integrate easily, where we can integrate some data, but we will have more challenges. And also, what is the data that we would like to integrate to Salesforce Marketing Cloud Intelligence, but is not available at this stage. And we will come back to it in the future. You also have what we call the data retention. So if you are familiar with Salesforce Marketing Cloud, you know what is data retention is basically how long are you keeping the data in your system. So it can be 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. It will be based in most of the case on the law, like based on your country and also on what your business is doing with the data. If the data is really matter to your business in the time, then maybe it's interesting to keep it for a while. If not, then it can be deleted. So this needs to be discussed with the customer. And finally, the granularity level. So basically, this is where how deep you want to go in the data. And for example, if you send an email campaign, you will be interested to have like the main KPI, open rate, click rate, unsubscribe rate. But maybe some people or your customer will be interested to know precisely which subscriber unsubscribe from your system or which subscriber click on the link C in your email. So the granularity level need also to be discussed with the customer. Once you finalize the discovery phase, you will jump into the build phase. So here you are in another milestone and you will reach 3 sub-phases. The first one will be the data ingestion. So you will have to connect the different source of data to Dataroma. So it's quite easy for most of the source. Like Dataroma is a tool that have like more than 250 different API. So it's really plug and play. You can connect Facebook in a few clicks. We can see that during the demo. But basically, this is where you need to connect the different data source. But also, it's important to say that in some case, if you are using a system that is not mainstream, like for example, a software that is custom built that is specific to your company, then Dataroma offer also other type of tool that will allow you to connect your external system to Dataroma. After that, we have like the harmonization and KPI. So this is where you will try to build one single view across the different data source, and you will have to say to the system Marketing Cloud Intelligence, okay, I want to make sure that all these external data source are evaluated on the device type. So for example, in the link, in the UTM link that I've shown before, you will have something like device, and each data source will have specific UTM parameter to indicate the device, for example, laptop, mobile, and then you will connect that to a data field, like a field, so a field in Dataroma in Salesforce Marketing Cloud Intelligence to connect and being able to segment the device type of each data source. And finally, you will have what we call the visualization. Here we will build each widget and we will make sure that the customer have a nice dashboard that is easy to read, easy to understand, and that is matching with the branding of your customer. So for example, if you want to work with Nike, then it will be interesting to put the custom logo Nike. I just say an example. But that's the three main parts of implementing a Dataroma solution in the build phase, and it will take approximately 10 weeks. So as you can see here, we have the QA and the sign off. So I just would like to explain you a bit more what the QA is. So the QA is at the end of each phase and each milestone, we will make sure that someone internal to the team, so for example, another consultant or another solution architect, will test your feature to make sure that is working as expected in the brief. When you have created the feature in the discovery phase and the customer approve it, you will be able to test the feature based on what you wrote in the discovery phase. So it's really important that this feature is tested internally by one of your workmates, but also externally by the customer. And for that, you can prepare the documentation on how to test the feature. You can introduce the feature to the customer during a video call or with Loom. For example, we use Loom a lot as Sky Solution, and this can avoid you to schedule and spend time in a meeting. You can save time on that. After that, you will provide to your customer a deadline to validate the feature. So you will tell him, okay, can you test that this data source is working as expected and give us like an approval within 3 weeks, so or like before the 1st of December, and your customer will be able to say, yes, this feature is working accordingly. And if not, it will be really important to collect the feedback from your customer to iterate on the feature until this feature is approved. And I will just show you after that, you have what we call the sign off. So basically, after each milestone, you have a sign off and a QA. So you do your QA testing is approved. And after you have the sign off, and the sign off will be a formal way to say, okay, we are okay with this feature. It's working as expected. We can move on. And this will allow you to be protected in a way in the future, because if you implement a project, Marketing Cloud Intelligence, and 6 months after, the customer came back to you and say, okay, but this is not working as expected, then you will be able to say, we did a quality assurance, and we also did a sign off to get a formal agreement that the feature is working as expected. And so you will be protected in a way. So I think what is really important is to send an email. So as you can see here, you have like a template. Basically, you will explain to your customer what the feature is. You will also give 3 indications: the input, so what is needed to make the feature work, and the output, what is working once the client use this feature. And you will also give the success criteria. So in which case we can approve the feature, or like the results are correct for this specific feature. And once you send this email and the client came back to you with like, I agree to sign off this feature, then like the milestones are completed and you will be able to land on the final phase, that is go live. So for go live, like the objective will be to provide the documentation to the customer. So you will provide, it can be video recording of you testing the product or proper documentation. I think a mix of both can be interesting, but basically this is where you will define and describe how to use all your solution that you just built. After that, you will have the handover to a success team. So this really depends if you are a single freelancer, for example, or if you are working in a big Salesforce consultancy. It will depend, but in general, once a project is correctly implemented, then we do an handover to the success team. And in case of issue, the customer will interact with someone from the success team to like get help and get new feature achieved even. And the last part will be the CSAT survey. So this is like Salesforce that send a survey to the customer, and the customer will basically note and give a grade for like how well the solution have been implemented based on the requirement, how enjoyable it was to working with this consultancy and this consultant. And Salesforce is more likely to recommend like partner and consultant that have good grade to new customers that want to implement Salesforce Marketing Cloud Intelligence. So that's the 3 main milestone and key points of the go live and handover part. And if you have any question, please let me know. Thank you.
Thanks, Arthur, for running through that. I guess what you've covered off is a high level of key milestones, those processes to get the requirement, that user requirement, into production. Is there any chance that we can have a look at the that sort of like that detail about how that works, or is that beyond the scope of now?
You mean like in that Dataroma?
Yeah. So
Okay.
integrating the Marketing Cloud to Dataroma, so we can sort of see, at least at a high level, those sort of milestones.
So,
but if that were, if we could do this in 2 parts. If you're not ready for that now, we could always come back and do another session on that. Because I think that sort of hands-on, I think a few people will be interested in that too.
So I would like to show basically the data stream. So this will come back to in the build phase. Okay, if we are on the build phase, we have the data ingestion. So how do we connect new data source? So here, this is what I mentioned, like the marketing vendor. So let's say you have 3 data sources to connect: Facebook ads, Google ads, and Google Analytics. This will be almost a feature that is built in. So it's really easy to connect your Facebook ads account, and to connect the two systems together. I will just try to find Google Analytics because I think I already have an account that is connected. Okay.
Or maybe not.
So this one, yeah, like it's my personal account. So basically here, as you can see, I just have to connect my website, and I can say all the user. I can get the keyword, get the campaign, get the goal, and then I will go to mapping. So this is more where we will talk about harmonization. So we are currently working on the data stream here, and now we will talk about harmonization. So I think I've already done that in the past. But basically, here you have an example of data mapping. Here you have the external data, that is my data from Google Analytics. And here you have my data that is from a data model of Marketing Cloud Intelligence. So this is the data model that is called Web Analytics. And within this Web Analytics data model, you have some Marketing Cloud Intelligence field. And what I want is to connect my external field to the field that are part of Marketing Cloud Intelligence. And if I click here, how does that work? It's pretty easy. I can click here, for example. Here you can see I have like the information. But
it allows the mapping. Are you able to integrate with two sources? Like, can you integrate with so for example Google Analytics and also another source?
Yeah, you will be able to do that, but I think in this specific case, so at this stage, I will say for one stream equal one data source. So for example, if I create a stream Google Analytics, then I will plug Google Analytics to my Web Analytics data model in one stream. But I can reuse my Web Analytics data model in another stream to plug two different data sources across two different data streams to one Web Analytics data model.
I got it. Okay. So this is like a flow. So you could have multiple flows. Like these are just steps in a flow. So you can have more than one of these steps. So you can say,
And here, when I was talking about harmonization, I don't remember. I don't know if you guys remember, but here it's exactly what I was speaking about. Like for example, UTM source in Google Analytics, I have source campaign medium. So this will be plugged to these three fields in Marketing Cloud Intelligence. But if I create a new data stream and I do, for example, Facebook ads to Web Analytics, then I will need to correctly connect these two fields together so that at the end I can visualize an overview of different data sources and how they interact together.
So is it possible to get Marketing Cloud linked into that overall data source? So can Marketing Cloud be part of that view itself?
Yep. So so if I go, so I couldn't access my my Sandbox Marketing Cloud this afternoon, but if I click here, you will see that you have Pardot, and you also have Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And I think the most interesting part is if you do data extension.
that integrated as a source. It's something you can map the values back to the model, and you can. It's a matter of having something a primary key on both that map together. So a little bit it's up to the user to make sure that you've got those relationships there.
Yeah.
It makes it appear, but provided they're there, then you can say, I've got an integration coming from Marketing Cloud. I've got an integration coming from another data source.
Yep.
And I use that mapping tool to map it then to a model in MCI that talks about that provides a series of views.
Yeah. And what is really interesting is that we have like a data extension. So you have like an API that is directly made for Marketing Cloud data extension. And we know that in like data extension in Marketing Cloud are a big thing. So this is where we store all kind of information. So this all kind of information can be visualized thanks to this API. I use it quite a lot actually on in my when I work with that Dataroma. So this is like a nice way of connecting like other external system. You
so
also
for a developer, these are the joins. So if you drag and drop the joins together, we still need to work out what our primary keys are, but these are all the things that we can join on. So just if you're trying to do this manually with a SQL, then these would be what you're joining together to get your outcome. Except we're doing this UI.
I think it's quite interesting. I was speaking with some Salesforce developer, and the way they present Marketing Cloud Intelligence is more like for someone that will be a data analyst than like a backend developer, but it's still related to IT. There is two other features that I think are quite interesting to present. It's Total Connect. So Total Connect will allow you to connect like external system where there is more complexity in connecting the two systems. So for example, it will be everything related to AWS S3 or PostgreSQL or even Oracle. So this is basically where there is more complexity and a connector couldn't be directly built in. And we are expecting the consultant or the solution architect to do a bit more configuration to connect the two systems. So this is Total Connect. And after that, you have something called Light Connect. And Light Connect will be more, you just drag and drop like a spreadsheet and you will get a visualization of your data in a few seconds. That's the thing about Light Connect. If I can, I may have something.
Once these connections are set up, they're reusable. So you might have a technical architect or a data architect put together the connection, but once they're set up, then they can be reused by a marketer to drop and drag the flows. So there's complexity here. Is all this available in because I know there's two versions. There's a free version, is that correct? And then there's the advanced version. And we're looking at features that are in the free version at the moment or the advanced version?
So this is the paid version. I know that the free version that is available in Marketing Cloud will give you all the information that an email marketer need to understand email campaign. That's my understanding. Basically, like you will find it's a new version of Analytic Builder. Because I think from my understanding, Analytics Builder started to still really accurate in terms of number, but in terms of design and visualization, analytics builders start to get a bit old. So maybe Salesforce decided to get a new analytics system based on Dataroma that will provide like the information needed by the end user
Yep.
in a nicer way, I think.
Reimagine it.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm keen to get started. Admittedly, I'm working with a partner,
Yeah.
Salesforce Marketing Cloud partner, but how I don't see, like when I go into my sandbox at the moment, I don't see it as being one of the options. So what have I got to do to get started, at least with the free version? What's the process there?
I will say to get started with the version that is available in Marketing Cloud or this one.
Either or either. So
Oh, yeah. So I will say if we are talking about these versions, that is the version that if you want to go a bit deeper, then you will enjoy, and also like the version that will connect a lot of different data source. Uh, if we talk about this version, I will say the first step will be to connect, like for example, your main system. So,
yeah,
for example, if you are a startup, you are more likely to use Google Analytics for
sure.
your website.
But just
Yep,
just practically, so I'm sitting behind my computer. I've got
yep.
Marketing Cloud open. What do I need to do next to get started? So what's my first step for getting started? So do I need to raise a support ticket, contact an account exec, do all the above, or
Yeah, I would say I would say as a end user, as a business, like the easiest way would be to get in touch with um, an account executive from Salesforce,
yeah,
and the account executive will be able to redirect the customer to the best partner, uh, like in the country or in the city related. But after that, it can depend. Like if you already know a partner that you enjoy working with, you could go directly to your partner and say, "Hey, we would like to work with Dataroma. Could you start the process for
yeah,
us to implement the platform?"
yeah. And then there's the two options. What level do you need? And then it's a matter of the partner working through that to work with the account exec and also the client on what their requirement really, what the depth and the use cases for the requirement.
Yep.
Um, so as a Salesforce partner, what's my first next step? So I'm a Salesforce partner. I haven't worked with Dataroma before. I'd like to. So
Yeah.
what should I do next? I'm keen to start. So what do you recommend I do next?
So I would say so you have two versions. Like there is maybe like the traditional version that will be to study on the partner camp. So all the Salesforce partners have access to an online academy where they can learn exclusive content. And there is what they call a curriculum that is related to Salesforce Marketing Cloud Intelligence. So you can start learning on that, and you can even get certified um, Marketing Cloud Intelligence professional.
So
Or
you just go to the partner learning portal and
yeah,
yep, start the process there. It sounds like a
but
good idea.
after that, like maybe like the less classic version, but that can also be interesting and also really enjoyable, is to just search on Google and YouTube for content related to Marketing Cloud Intelligence and Datorama,
Yep,
because like you can access like content that is basically summarized, and you can follow also content creator that goes straight to the point.
yep.
And I think a mix of both can be really interesting.
And another option is to reach out to the dev group because we've got awesome people like yourself that
Yeah.
have got the answers. And we've got the LinkedIn forum, which is a good place just to drop questions. We'll
Yep.
put some links to those things afterwards as well.
Yep.
Question on the forum. One question, typically what could be the average length of one complete Datarama implementation. I think we chatted about this last time too.
Yeah.
And really, it's one of those questions: how long is a piece of string? But it really does depend on what needs to be done, and it's a
Yeah.
typical first use case that everyone wants. So, did you want to just step through that again, Arthur?
Yep. So we speak as an overall project implementation. It's about 13 weeks, like 12 to 13 weeks. Uh, and after it can really depend on how heavy the workload and the feature are, and also who is your customer. Because we work with let's say you work with a customer that is on a retainer basis, then you will implement a first small feature and then you will iterate step by step with him. But yeah,
I've got to smile with the 12 weeks. It's so often that when you're planning out any project, tends to get fitted into 12 weeks. You sprint it out, you just get it.
really.
Well, it's such a magic number for projects. But 12 weeks tends to be the process. But you've got to, it's anything that you don't do by yourself, but you've got to have access to the people that can help you. And you can only go so fast, and it's client side and internal.
Yeah,
But it's often how quickly can we get it done, and if we're workshopping or playing back once a week,
yeah,
you can only go that fast, regardless of the number of features. If you've got one feature that you're rolling out, it's still going to take probably 12 weeks. You
yeah,
might roll out a whole lot more work, then you're going to have more resources, but it's still probably going to take 12 weeks, but just
yeah.
more resources packed onto the project. Lakshmi's got another question there. Question number 2. Do we consider Dataroma as a separate implementation or part of a Salesforce Marketing Cloud implementation? I'm gonna answer that one. I believe it's separate, but it's a feature that it helps to enable more reporting to be done. So it's optional. Would that be your take on that, Arthur?
Yeah. I think I would recommend to work as a separate implementation just to to it's way more easy if you separate marketing cloud and Datorama, like marketing cloud intelligence, as two different implementations.
You don't even need to have Marketing Cloud for Dataroma, do you?
No, you don't.
No. So it's a product that it's in the same family at Salesforce.
Yeah,
It's Marketing Cloud, sort of, but it's not necessarily part of Marketing Cloud. So it's just
yeah,
it tends to get talked about in the same sentence, but that's not necessarily the case. Like you
yeah,
said, Google Analytics, Facebook Analytics, it becomes a tool to do visualization,
yeah,
um, and you don't need Marketing Cloud for that. If it's not required for the inputs.
yeah.
We haven't got any more questions there. So maybe that's a wrap.
Yep,
Yeah,
perfect.
not a problem. Arthur, did you want to come back and do any more sessions this year, or let just the community sort of bubble up questions and see what happens? Or?
Yeah, I would be really interested to continue. Maybe, and I think other product would be interesting. I know that the next project that I will work on will be CDP. So
Yep.
so I think Datorama, like I did, I mean, like there is a lot that we did already, and I think I will pass the certification, and then as soon I will switch to CDP.
Yeah. So we do have informally planned for early next year a CDP session because
Yep.
there is so much interest around that. Um, just quickly about yourself. So what are you doing to skill up on CDP? What's your plan?
I don't know. I just know that everyone is talking about that, and I should learn a bit more about it to stay
Maybe
on
we
the
need to
wave.
get offline and do it together because, yeah, I need to get across that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but also presenting is a nice way of learning. You need to summarize the information and to rush
Yep.
to. So I like to do that, and And
there's nothing like a deadline to get you to get work done.
yeah, exactly.
And
So
being able to present something is you can only practice and improve. It's just a skill that you evolve over time. But
yeah,
I like that you didn't have too many slides. I think that's the key to it. You don't want to rely too much on the slides. They're
yeah,
there to assist. So I appreciate what you did with the slides today. There's only a handful of them, but they helped tell the story. They didn't tell the story. They just there to assist, which is really good.
yeah. I think 10 slide is a good amount. It's not too heavy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comment here. Thanks for the amazing session, Arthur. I would also like to know if there will be any demo session on data harmonization going forward. That's a question. So we're running out of Wednesdays this year.
Yeah.
We meet almost weekly, and we've sort of run out of Wednesdays. We've sort of got it through until the end of the year, but we'll continue on into next year. So
yeah.
I'm going to put this question together. We'll send out the email with links. We'll ask if there's any interest in more conversations around what you presented. I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
Maybe do a Q&A session on that early in the new year. And the other one's CDP.
Yeah.
So I might, we're starting to plan that. So I might, ask you if you'd like to be included with that, just to follow along.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Arnold. Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
Until next time. Catch you later.
See you. Bye.
Thank you.